What is head voice? What is chest voice? And what is falsetto? It's very simple. This is chest voice, the voice I'm speaking in right now. This is like a falsetto. You can hear the air behind the chords. It's not quite locked together. And this is a head voice. And that's actually more of a mix, just because I had a habit. I kind of mix it, but it's that's pure head voice. And the difference between falsetto and head voice is that head voice is connected. Falsetto has breath behind it. So head voice is really something you can lean into and build off of, whereas the falsetto, that's going to be something that is going to deprive you of power over time. You're not able to lean into it because the vocal cords aren't closing all the way. Whereas with head voice, they're closing all the way. You're using a good bit of compression. And then mix is really just adding a little bit more meat into it. I don't really think of it as like head voice, chest voice mixed together. I really just think of it as like how much power you want to put it, because it's not black and white. Like you can do a note really, you can do a high note really light, you can add a little bit of power, you can do like a lower note really light, or you can add power, and it really just depends on like what kind of sound you're going for. But once you learn how to use your voice, you don't really think about it. It just kind of happens. So, but again, head voice is that it's like a crisp, clear sound, whereas falsetto is like it's a lot different. You can blend falsetto with chest voice to get like a pop type sound. I don't do it. I just don't think it's like a good, healthy vocal habit. Pretty much the more your more air that goes over your chords, the more they dry out, the more they get damaged, the more they get inflamed, and that's how you run into problems with not being able to sing after singing for like half hour, an hour. Your voice might be going out, and that can be caused from straining, or it could be caused from singing with way too much breath over the chords. It is just not sustainable in the long term because it's vocal damage. So again, head voice, falsetto, and then you have like a mix where you can kind of make it more powerful. And head voice, check this out, you can actually lean into head voice and turn it into like a strong note, because the chords are already closed, so you're not blowing them apart. With falsetto, if you try to do that, you'd probably just blow your chords apart and you'd lose the sound. But with head voice, you can really lean into it, and as the muscles get stronger, they can learn to hold the sound, they can hold that air down, and then you can get so you can hear the difference. I start out really, really light, but it's still crisp and clear. There's no air passing by them. And then I just kind of lean into it a little bit. I open up the throat. I think more like getting my tongue forward, getting the soft palate up. So, yay! And I also really, really engage the diaphragm. Whereas like a head voice is not as demanding on the body if it's just pure head voice. Whereas you really, really want to lean into it. Like you want a really heavy type sound in that higher range. This is really almost crunching down. Like it's all my muscles in my core are kind of, not all of them. I wouldn't say all of them, but it really feels like it's tightening up and pushing down to the pelvic region, just so the tension's not here, and so it's like a nice, healthy, compressed voice without the vocal damage. Because if you try to yell it, it will hurt. It will not work. So that's just a quick example. Head voice, chest voice, falsetto. I would say that really, realistically speaking, you want to kind of think of chest voice and head voice as one voice, just different parts of the voice. Because basically, with both of them, you're getting full chord closure, unless you sing with a lot of air, then you're always singing in falsetto. But with both of them, you usually get a good amount of chord closure. It's really just a matter of like the sensation of it. So like in chest voice, the vocal cords are going like this. They're kind of like stretching out a little bit to change the pitch. And with head voice, they're zipping up. So they're just different muscles, but once you learn to like use both muscles, you can kind of blend the sensation, and it all just comes together. It takes time, but it's never about like, am I in head voice or am I in chest voice? If you just practice enough and you get them blended, that's never something I think about when I sing. And I'm sure other singers that can hit high notes or sing high notes, not hit them, right? We don't hit notes, we sing them. I'm sure other singers feel the same way. So don't get too caught up in it. And the main thing you want to make sure is that you're not letting too much air out, because if you're letting too much air out, then that's vocal damage. You can do it a little bit here and there tastefully for some falsetto, but realistically you don't want to make a really strong habit of it, because it will, again, blow too much air across the cords, cause inflammation, cause you to lose your voice, and it's pretty much just as damaging as straining if you do it too much. And if you practice that way, your muscle memory will be set up for kind of a weaker note rather than like that heavier or that just more versatile sound, because it doesn't necessarily have to be heavier, right? You can still do a light head voice, and it doesn't really like take away your strong high notes too much if you practice that way, because you can still lean into them. Or if you just practice falsetto and like that's the muscle memory build up, it's going to be hard to add power. It's going to be really hard to get a healthy sound and not like damage your voice that way. And the real thing is that when it comes to compression, it's almost like holding your breath as you talk. And I noticed, like, I was singing earlier, so I feel like I'm talking with a lot of compression right now, just because my voice is like kind of warmed up and has that like brighter tone to it, rather than when I'm not warmed up. And it's really just like, if I were to hold my breath and I just started talking to you, like, this is compression. You can't really tell that I'm holding my breath too much, but like it's compressed. It's compressed. So my vocal cords are closed. They're not letting more air through than they need to, and it's just a lot more efficient. It's a lot safer. It's a lot healthier, rather than if you're passing all this air, you're gonna run out of breath a lot, and it's not gonna sound very powerful, and it's gonna be like, it's kind of like lazy. So yeah, that's really head voice, chest voice, falsetto breakdown.